Hey everybody, welcome to Your Unpaid Therapist.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Your Unpaid Therapist.
I'm not getting paid. I didn't even get a donut.
Oh, that's sexy though. I like it. I'm Valerie Milagros Ortiz. I don't know. I am your host, Ali Kona. She's away. Bradford.
This is Your Unpaid Therapist. Shoo-wah, cha-cha. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to season number 2 of Your Unpaid Therapist. I am one half of your dynamic duo. I'm Ali Kona Bradford, joined by the sensual, the seductive, and every other word that starts with an S that's great is my co-host, Valerie Ortiz.
What an intro. Hola.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes,
here we
and
go.
I am... What?
I just said, here we go.
Oh, okay. Today we are joined by someone. I'm like super excited because our guest today is a professional athlete. She started off training for the Olympics. She got into boxing, and then you might recognize her because she landed herself in a wrestling ring. She's one of the stars of WOW's Women of Wrestling. You know her as Kandi Krush, but today we're going to get to know the intimate side of Amberly Shaw. Ding, ding, ding.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for being on the show. We have actually some close friends who are excited for you to be on our show as well. So this is going to be super fun.
That's awesome.
A little bit more about Amberly.
Yes, I'm an open book. Let's go. I'm ready to rumble.
That's right.
Well, since you are an open book.
Wait, pause. You guys are like vertical and I'm horizontal. Shall I change myself? I'm not tech savvy. I'm an athlete, not a technician. I don't.
You know, you look horizontal on my end.
Is that how I'm supposed to be?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wish I was horizontal right now. I'm just sleeping.
Hopefully you guys are actually watching us, not just hearing us. You can watch us YouTube and all the other places. But if not, we're talking about our video coverage here.
Yes. And I love that you said horizontal because somebody with their dirty mind is going to think other things.
Let them.
Well, I tried to add that I'm tired and I want to be asleep. Athlete life, man, it's a lot, you know.
It really, really is. So before we get into your story and the athlete life, we have to start with our icebreaker. And I'm just going to be the chicken that tosses it to my co-host and says, you start first.
Okay, I'll start first. You know, I kind of have to. The first one, I hope a lot of you guys know, and it's because of our gorgeous guest. And so if you know it, and actually I don't even know, I'm going to hum the parts that I don't remember, but I'm sure y'all know this song. I think you know what I'm going to sing. You ready? It's just a little crush.
Hey.
It's just a little crush. That's it. That's a song. So that's not my real song. That's not how I feel this week. Even though
I'm a big crush, you know.
Hey, that's right. You know what I was thinking about? I was trying to think about like how I was feeling this week, and this is super lame, but we're so like honest on the podcast. But my real song, as of just like yesterday, is it's my party and I cry if I want to, cry if I want to, I can cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. So y'all, I am trying to plan my 40th birthday, and it's just harder than I thought because, you know, you want your people there and everybody's just in different stages of their life, with families, financially, career, location. So to get the people that I would want to celebrate with doing what I would really want to do, it just doesn't look plausible. So I'm over here trying to like still be excited and do something super fun, but not feel like wah at the same time. So I was having a little pity party last night. So that's my song.
Aww. Let's just talk about, and I text Val and told her I was so excited because I had gotten her something for her birthday. And I was like, I'm such a good best friend. Like, oh, this is so good. This heifer, I got her tickets to a concert, and this heifer canceled her concert. And I was like, no. I was so
wow.
sad.
Wait, who canceled their concert?
Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo. Oh, I saw that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. like, so if you don't know, that's Val's favorite artist. And I was like, it's her 40th birthday. Like, what can I do that would be like special and fun? And so I got the tickets, realized I wasn't even going to be in town during the concert. So I called her boyfriend and was like, hey, can you take Val for me? And I'm going to like sing a song and I'm going to parody all of J-Lo's songs, but make it into a birthday song. And he was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I love it.
Well, they always say it's the thought that counts. So
Exactly.
there's that.
It's so true. It's so cute.
Anyways, Amberly, since you are our guest of honor, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let you sing next.
God. First of all, I can't believe I'm have to sing something so I just traveled. Well, I'll tell you about my whole week after, I guess. But I literally woke up and was like, something sitting on my chest. So I have allergies or whatnot. Anyway, phlegm. There you go. So here goes the hook of my song. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Probably.
Yes.
So that was real pitchy at the start. I should have done better than that. I can sing better.
Girl.
Anyway.
You sounded good.
I'm just mad that I let you go before me.
So basically, literally, I've had one of those weeks where everything that could go wrong went wrong. From canceled flights to like, I don't know, you name it. So I literally feel like everything and everyone around me is going crazy, which is making me go crazy too. So I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. And so there's that. Crazy is my song.
Great song. Yes.
I'm like, let me just quietly tiptoe.
If you don't sing your song and not give 2 F's about it.
Okay, so my song is actually a duet. So I'm gonna like sing both parts and be like, and I'll sing. I'm gonna sing the thing before the chorus into the chorus. Live with it. You're gonna have to okay. Don't discard me, baby, no. Just because you think I mean you harm. Just because I think I mean you harm. But these cuts I have, they need love, they need love, they need love. Hold on, I'm getting there. To help them heal. Oh, don't let the sun go down on me. Although some cause losing everything is like the sun going down on me.
Okay. Who sings that, y'all?
I don't know what song that was.
It's exactly. When I sing it, you can't tell. It is Sir Elton John and George Michael.
No. As soon as you got to the hook, I was like, hell yeah. But like, I don't know the chorus, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the verses, I guess, rather.
Yeah. And so like the gist of
madam.
Huh? Okay, so the gist of this song is actually like supposed to be 2 lovers singing to each other. George Michael being the one who's like, I came into your life to light it up, but I'm trying to help you and do all these things and love you the way you deserve to be loved. The other person is really shut down because of all the wounds they've had in their life. And so they don't mean to hurt the other person, but they do. And they're like, please don't leave me because it's like the sun's going down on me. So I don't have that issue. It's not a love. For me, it's like a love letter to myself from baby me. Because this whole week has been me peeling back layers of how I show up in relationships, be it personal, like intimate ones, friendship, work. And it's like, you're guided by your little inner baby you. And so sometimes I show up in ways that is not respectful to myself and therefore other people disrespect me. So anyways, it's just been a week of like, oh, I still like... that trauma is still guiding me. I need to just let it go. So anyways, that's where my song comes from.
So then that can be your next song. Let it go. Let it go.
There you go.
Right.
I think we should just let Amberly sing the whole episode because
oh my god, if only I had started my song off better. No. I'm gonna blame it on
let's
this
get
cold
into it
congestion.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I mean we're here. So you're obviously an amazing athlete. Is there a creative, like a singer, like dancer person in you as well? Was that an interest?
Oh yeah. sound like I was from Minnesota. Oh yeah. I am from Minnesota, by the way. But like, I was just home for my niece's graduation, so it's like every time I come back, as much as I try not to sound like I'm from Minnesota, there's certain words that come out that I just can't control. But yes.
Okay.
So I love dancing. I've been dancing my whole life, like classically trained, but then I did hip hop dancing. I was in a hip hop troupe. I like singing. My fiance and I sing like together all the time. He's a really good singer too.
Oh, I love
But
this.
but I'm not a professional, but I love it. And
But you're good.
And then thank you. My whole life, most of it was a synchronized swimmer. So I do choreography still for the team in Minnesota. So when I was back home now, I never travel for just pleasure. Like I'm always doing something. So I went back home for my niece's graduation, but I was at the pool choreographing and coaching them. So I still do that as like an artistic outlet. And then I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for acting. So like all around, I just love the arts and athletics, and being a wrestler allows me to put those things together. So it's like my ultimate, basically.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I was talking to Ali Kona about that with her journey. I was like, girl, I mean, I've gone to some shows, and no disrespect, but the ones that I wasn't a big fan of is because they didn't sell it. Like the acting, like the physicality, and the girls were badass and strong and whatever. But it was the acting that kind of like, and so when she started her journey, I was
They need
like,
to make you feel something. Yeah, you have to feel something.
yeah,
Yeah,
sell me the story, like sell it. And yeah, so that's so cool. Now, when it comes to the synchronized swimming, is that like you were 5 swimming in the pool, you were amazing, and then the seed was born? That is such a very specific talent. How did you get there and realize like, damn, I'm good at this?
So how do I say this? I've always had like a natural like athleticism, but I actually like for synchronized swimming, how I started was like I was a fish. So my mom was teaching my sister how to swim. My sister's 3 years older than me. My mom was teaching me how to swim. I was down at the pool. Like I think my babysitter was probably watching me while my sister was swimming, but I basically crawled over to the pool and just like went in. And my mom was like, "What the hell?" You know?
Yeah.
But I saw my sister swimming, and so basically I went in, but I was like I could swim before I could walk. And so I always have felt comfortable in the water, and then my mom taught me how to properly swim.
Sure.
But then I started dancing and like regular like speed swimming, you know, like Michael Phelps or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's canceled or who we refer to now for swimming, but whatever. Katie Ledecky, we'll refer to her. So like that kind of swimming. But then I wanted to do gymnastics, and my mom was like, absolutely not. There's too much injury there. They're gonna like pound your body down. Which thanks a lot, Mom. Gymnastics would help a lot in wrestling. Like
I was like the irony.
Anyway, yeah. So she was like, how about a compromise? Like when she was in college, she did synchronized swimming. And she was like, how about you try synchronized swimming? Because I needed more of like the artistic expression side of something. And I did figure skating and all the things, soccer, whatever. I was doing all the sports. But yeah, so then when I tried synchronized swimming, I was like, this is it. I became obsessed, which I think you have to. You have to become obsessed with what you are going to pursue. And it totally just, I say like, do whatever sets your soul on fire. And 1000%, that was it for me.
Wow.
However, even though I had natural athleticism, like you need to have like really nice pointed toes and knee extension. I did not have the flexibility, the ankle extension, the knee extension, or anything. So I had to work my ass off, basically. So I had a love for it. I have some natural swimming skills, but then I just like, what you put in is what you get out. I believe that in life and especially in sports. But I worked my ass off and worked my way up over time onto the national team. I moved away from my family at 16 to pursue that, actually.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to reach my goals. You know, you have to sacrifice. I think there's a certain level of sacrifice that has to come with bigger goals. And so I had the biggest. I had the Olympics in mind. So I left home at 16. I went to Portland, Oregon first. So I did my junior year of high school there. And then my senior year of high school, I went to Santa Clara, California, graduated from Santa Clara High. So yay area. I love the Bay. I feel like that's part of my persona too. So yeah, I'm still close with my family, but I did leave home and probably not get some of the lessons I needed in those years because I was gone. You were talking about childhood trauma and stuff, like still guiding you. I'm like, oh, that's probably why I do these certain things or feel a certain way. Cause like my formative years, I was just like off on my own. Can you guys hear my bulldog? She's like
No.
grumbling.
I could.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I
But
have
as long as we are aware with the noises, because if anybody's listening now, they know. Like you
It's
guys.
not your tummy.
she just I've been at training all day and she wants me to play with her now, so she keeps throwing a tire at my foot and then like yelling at me to get it. And so like I'm so sorry. It's like having a toddler. You know,
Yeah.
Alcina, how this is.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
anyway, that's how I got started in synchronized swimming.
So, but one of the things that I had read is that you were doing it for a while, but eventually you left because of the toxic environment, it being abusive. I'm imagining like emotionally and mentally abusive. And a lot of people know and don't know that about sports. So I myself am like really curious about what that looked like and at what point were you like, I'm done.
Yeah. I it's hard I'm so sorry about my throat, you guys. I'm like drinking this tea, like whatever this medicine ball junk they do at
That thing is actually really good. I've had it before.
It's good, but like
You don't feel it's working.
could it just fix me?
I can just sing.
Yeah, you should just go back to like some singing breaks. Okay, so it's hard because I don't want it to seem like it was all bad. It wasn't. There's some really great coaches. Like my mom was my first synchronized swimming coach, a very healthy coach. But yes, when I was on the national team and I was training in California, there was a lot of, and it's on all levels, like you said, mental, emotional, but there was also a physical aspect, not sexual, but just physical as in overtraining. Like our bodies were not like respected in like, or we weren't allowed to voice like what's wrong with us. Like somebody else knew what's best for our bodies instead of ourselves. So you like pretty much relinquish control of yourself in every aspect. You just become a product. And that is really hard to process when you're 16, 17, 18 years old and your family's across the country. I mean, it's hard for anybody, even if you have your full family support, but you're experiencing that on a day to day. And we were training 8 to 10 hours a day, 12 hours on Saturdays, so 6 days a week, sometimes 7. But so you don't get much recovery. I was still trying to finish high school at the same time, etc. You're constantly being like pit against your teammates, like it's a competition when we should be working together as one. And sports are a competition. I don't believe in like the whole participation prize type of thing, really. I mean, maybe when you're in T-ball, but like once you're done being 5 years old, like, sorry, time to step it up. So it's not even like I'm super like everybody deserves a prize. Like I'm not like that at all. I think you need to work hard, and athletics are a competition. However, with amongst your own teammates, there should be a healthy level of competition. We drive each other to be better. If somebody tells me, oh, my duet partner is, you guys don't know synchronized swimming terms, but if they're egg beating higher than me, so treading water, and she's higher than me out of the water, they're like, oh, she's higher than you, Amberly. I'm like, the fuck? And see, it's hard for me not to drop F-bombs. Anyway, then I'll push myself to being higher. Now she's like, oh, she's higher. Now you know what I mean? We push each other to be better, but not in a toxic way. So I do believe in healthy competition, but the kind of culture that was set up was not that at all. When I first got there, everybody on my team was like, why is she here? Because I kind of walked on to this team, but it's because I had worked my way up in other parts of the country and other teams. And you know, there was a certain point where I didn't really feel like myself anymore. Like I got hit by a car on my way biking to school. I didn't have a car, and so I was biking to training, and it was a hit and run. I was wearing a helmet, but I flipped over my handlebars. The helmet cracked. I walked my bike to training. Like I was almost at the pool. So I walked my bike the rest of the way, and I was like, I told my coach, like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but like I just got hit by a car. And I was like upside down trying to look at the license plate, and they drove away. It was a black sedan. That's all I know. And so I'm like, and I didn't have like a cell phone or anything. So I was just like, I don't know. And so she was like, oh, well, are you bleeding? I was like, no, but should I like go to the hospital or something? She goes, if you're not bleeding, you're fine, get in the pool. And So you're just there's that. I mean, I had food poisoning, and they're like, "Here's a bucket. You can still swim. Do that." Luckily, body image wise, I was always very lean, but I did have teammates who were told to be on a specific diet, which their diet did not allow them to have enough energy to train like we did. So they were just suffering, and that's dangerous on so many levels. But I eventually like fell into what they told me was situational depression. And so I, where I used to feel more like myself in the water, now I felt like I was drowning when I was in the water. And there's no way. I became number 2 in the country by this point, and so there's just no way that I was actually drowning. But it felt like it. It just felt like every wave was going to take me under because I was emotionally drowning. And I went to, I mean, and then they called us every name in the book while we were training. And same thing now, as I train people, I'm very strict and I have like very high standards of excellence for them. But I will never like call you out your name and, you know, say like, you look like the shit on the bottom of my shoe, blah, blah. Like they just kept going, going, going. Like I can't even, it's so creative, the stuff they came up with, but like so, so insulting.
It sounds
and
very like,
it's not even like one of those don't take it personal things because it became like so personal.
I was just thinking as she was talking, it sounded very boot campy, like, you know, what you see on TV for the Marines or Army or, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like that. And I guess they're like breaking their psyche on purpose. But you know how many veterans come back and they're messed up for life. They have PTSD, not just from war, but from the whole mental aspect of it, the culture and everything. So it is like that. And I do believe in like very regimented training, but I also believe that everybody is an individual and that you should be treated with respect. And I can drive my athletes hard without screaming at them. I just set expectations, like, and I can let them know, like, I'm kind of sick of being a you know, repeating record, like a broken record. So let's focus on this now and let's get this now. And I can be very firm and stern, but not say like, you look like trash and you'll never get it and tearing them down. It's also a sport of precision and perfection. So it's not about like in basketball. If you make a basket, you can see that you made a basket. Like nobody has to tell you if it was a 3-pointer or whatever. I don't know the point system in basketball.
Right. But
don't
it's
ask
clear
me.
that you did what you were supposed to do. It was successful.
Yeah. So you have immediate feedback that a person doesn't have to tell you though. So if I'm upside down in the water and I'm doing something with my legs, I have no idea. Like you start to learn how it feels. You connect it to your brain by how somebody tells you it looks. So I'm relying on somebody for feedback and information at all times. So when I come up and somebody says, you're doing it wrong, do this, this, and this, okay, I have to go underneath and fix those things. So every time I come up and somebody says, you look like shit, you'll never get it. You're this, you're that. I'm constantly like relying on somebody. It's like a dog, you know? You can train them with positive feedback, positive reinforcement, or negative, and it's like you're gonna get 2 different dogs, you know, as a result. One that's scared of you and not as healthy, and one that's like very happy, healthy, and thriving. But like it's the same amount of time to train them, essentially. You know what I mean? It's your approach. So the approach that they took for training us was, yes, very toxic and abusive. And the hard part is that there were some good moments. So this is like being with a narcissist, essentially, where it's like, first of all, they give you all the praise, love bombing. I'm so happy you're here, part of the team, blah, blah, blah. You're destined for greatness, which I was because I worked my ass off. But then it's like, now I need to break you down. So like, you're shit, you're this, you're that, blah, blah. You feel like you can't do anything. And oh my God, I must be so terrible. I need them to fix me. I need them to tell me how to be better because I still have this goal of like, I want this so bad. The goal becomes bigger than yourself at a certain point when you're going through this. And then it's just like, you start to lose who you are. And I mean, I've talked about it enough that it doesn't necessarily affect me on like I will break out in tears now, but I can tell you that it took me a lot of years of therapy to get to a point where like I could talk about it without feeling like that scared sad, lost version of myself, you know, like really transporting back into it.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like, so I can't necessarily relate on an athletic spectrum, but on a parental spectrum, I can, in terms of like, it was expected of me to be extremely smart because my father was like genius IQ. So for his daughter to not be was like,
Whoa.
So, you know, that mixed with him being an alcoholic, stuff came out without a filter. So it's the same thing, right? And you get older and you talk about it and you can talk about it without having a lot of emotions, which could be disassociation or it could be healing. But then
Yeah.
later on, it's so funny, like going back to the song that I was singing, you find yourself going through life and realizing certain behaviors that you're like, "Oh shit, that's because so and so treated me like this." And then I find myself personally like angry. Like I'm angry and I'm sad. I'm sad that I'm this way and I don't know how to undo it. And I'm angry because I feel like the people that did it to me were being very selfish. So I guess my
Yeah.
question would be like, do you feel like that? And if so, how do you navigate that?
So as a result, I know one behavior that I have developed in life that is kind of like a repeating pattern for me as a result of this type of relationship with um, my relationship with my coach, essentially, and that culture, is that I am very, very validation
Mhm.
seeking and people pleasing. And I do get frustrated sometimes because I don't want to be a people pleaser. So even I try to reframe that and be like, instead of being like, I'm a people pleaser and just accepting it, I try to reframe that and say, like, I have tended to have people please, or I have had people pleasing tendencies, right? So it's like, and it's something I'm working on. Instead of like claiming that and really letting it have power over me, I don't want that to be one of my labels per se. I'm a people pleaser because really what that's doing is not setting my own boundaries and not being true to myself. And one thing I learned that is when you do people pleasing things and you're like, well, I'm just trying to be helpful and do this and you know, I have to help all these people. Like moms do this a lot. They're very like self-sacrificial. I mean parents in general, I guess. I don't want to just but you know. We tend to be pretty selfless as women, I would say. But it's like they put everybody first before them to try to make everybody else happy. That I've learned from a therapist is actually um, more selfish than if you fill your cup first. Because if you're not like fully equipped to help those people because you're like running on fumes, you're not giving them the best version of yourself. So, what's actually the most selfless act to do is to fill your own cup first. Make sure that you are good. It's like on the airplane, you put your own oxygen mask on first because you can't help the little guy next to you if you're passed out. And I never really understood that until my therapist, who was actually a sports psychologist, explained that to me. She's like, you have to fill your cup first, then you have all of this to give, and you can help people better that way. So, people pleasing, validation seeking, I've done that as a result of that, and it has only set me back and probably other people because I'm not giving them like real feedback. Like being a yes man helps nobody. So I had to learn how to set boundaries. This has repeated in relationships too, where I learned how to be a codependent to my coach who was a narcissist. And so then I'm like, oh, this is where I fit. And so then I ended up in many narcissistic romantic relationships. So, and narcissists can see you from a mile away if they know that you are going to end up being a people pleaser type of person and you're codependent and they prey on you. So now that I know, it's like when you can see one, you can see them all. I've been able to navigate a little bit, but there are challenges that come up as a result of that. Also, my dad was an alcoholic too. So there are a lot of, I didn't know that until I was 18 actually, but it does explain some behaviors and some like turbulent times I experienced when I was younger in my house where it's like they kind of tried to hide it from me, like protect me from it, I guess, because I was so focused on my goals. But then it's like, well, why did dad just call yelling at me, blaming me for this? And then my mom finally had to say, like, oh, he's an alcoholic, you know, it's not rational. But still, the person who you love is coming hard down on you and blaming you for things is just all very toxic type of communication. And it continues on in your life unless you actively work on reframing and redirecting your natural tendencies from it, you know?
I think just to piggyback off of what you said in terms of, like, your dad, I knew because it was present and, like, no one tried to hide anything, but what I did not know until I was at least somewhere around 2021 is the behavior that I was seeing was not the person. I always thought my dad is
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's angry, he's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that's who he is, and therefore I dislike this person. And then when I understood the disease and went,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, like that's literally," and then I started seeing how other people acted that were that poor drinkers and they acted the same way. And I was like, "Oh, that's not a personality trait. That's literally like almost a side effect, if you will, of the disease." But
Yeah.
because of that, I was able to have a little bit of empathy and forgive for myself. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important actually, yeah.
I had a therapist tell me that people pleasing, although it seems like you're trying to do things for other people, it's really us trying to be in control. Because we are trying
Mm.
to control the narrative and how people perceive us. So obviously, because I was very much that, I feel like I have a better balance of it. But definitely in my
Mhm.
in my teens and 20s, I suffered from that. And then it was just that. And I agree. I now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, like I was really trying to control how people saw me. And so then I was just like, I just need to do all the things to make them happy, and like
Mhm.
I'm the nice one and da da da. And so that just kind of became that pattern. And then I liked how people reacted to me making them feel good.
Uh-huh.
Cause then it was just like this thing that I was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, so you're happy that I'm like that I made you happy, and then so now you're making," it was just like this interchange, and it
Well, right, and yeah, and it helps you avoid, like, any kind of, like,
right.
turbulent situation because it's like, "Oh, no, it's totally fine," like, you end up, like, sacrificing yourself, and then it's like, right, to control the
Yep.
narrative, control the situation so it just stays happy and
Yeah.
peaceful and whatever, and then you don't have to
Trauma.
experience more of that
Mhm.
trauma.
Isn't
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
interesting though how like we all have this innate need for someone to like us and to not want to take them off? Like you have to,
Mhm.
one of the beautiful things about, and I hate when people say this, is like when you get older. But I will say one of the benefits is you slowly really do start to not care and be like, I am me. And if you don't like me, like I think I'm gonna be
Yeah.
okay if you don't like me.
Yeah, I have to tell you this.
Yeah.
This is so random, but at the gym like 2 days ago, I'm hearing all these older people talk. And this lady is asking another, they're probably like late 60s, 70s, like how their day is going or whatever. And then she's like, Linda, so did you finish your swimming? Actually, she was a swimmer. And then she's like, well, not yet. And then she starts going on about like, I'm going to do recovery and then probably just sit down. And then she's telling the story. The other lady's like, well, you don't really need to go into all of that. I was like, "Oh my god." And then she's like, "Well, you shouldn't have asked." And I'm like, "I love old people." They just had no shame.
They're just so blunt with each other, they don't waste time. No, I feel
Oh.
that too. Actually, like, I'm really close with our Alec knows, I'm really close with our head trainer
Uh-huh.
at WOW, and, we don't waste time either. We just talk to each other like I can't say all the words we say to each other because whatever, MFer, hey MFer, whatever. We just say whatever we wanna say, and I'll be like before this, like, I'm here right now at that house, so, I'm like, get your coffee, get out of here. I have to do this podcast. But like the way that we talk to it's not in disrespect. It's just like we have so much respect and love for each other and also like don't want to waste each other's time or our own time. That is just like I'm like, okay, I need you to cut to the chase. I don't need to hear all that you're saying right now because I literally just told you I have to get on Alicona's podcast. Well, she's like, okay. And then like, but there's
Yeah.
zero drama because we just talk to each other like it is what it is, and we both accept that. And yeah, I love that actually. That type of communication to me is way better. And yeah, once you start getting away from the people pleasy stuff and you experience the
Yeah.
other side, it's like, so what if you don't like me? I mean, I'm still a work in progress, but I have started to just be more of myself. And it's like, okay, so if you don't like me, you're just
Right.
probably not my people. And I don't know, because I'm not a person who goes out in malice and like
Mhm.
is mean to people. So it's like, it's probably a you problem. I don't know. I work on myself. So like, if you can't receive me, then like, let's just, you go with your
It's
group,
all
I'll go
good.
with my group, whatever.
Yeah, I was
Live
just
our own
for
life.
me,
Yeah.
if somebody
Life's
like
too
talked
short.
to me like that, it just depends on who it is. Because I'm like, if I don't know you like that, I'm gonna look at you a little
Oh
sideways. But I loved it.
no, you have to have a
Exactly.
special bond with
I,
somebody and like have your own communication style. No, if my fiance talked to me like that, I'd be like,
exactly.
"Hey,
Like, yeah,
are you
okay.
mad at me?" I'll just like
Exactly.
melt
No,
and
but
cry.
yeah, especially with good girlfriends. And
Yeah.
no, they totally had that energy of just like, oh, yep, that's just Carol. Yep, that's just Linda. And it always gravy. Always
I
gravy. And I'm
love
over here
that.
like I thought it was awesome.
Oh my god, that's me.
That's cute. I
So
love
I
it.
want to this is great. I want to skip ahead a little bit and just talk about because you decided to leave obviously because of the situation and all that jazz. Then you got into
Hmm.
boxing and then you
Yep.
obviously got into WoW, and I'm sure there's people listening that want to hear all about that. Uh
Mm.
so how about this? Not that I'm trying to like skip over boxing by any means. We'll get back to that. But how did you
Yeah.
find out? Because I know how I found out. How did you find out? And what did you think was happening when you entered this audition situation? Like, did you know what you were walking into?
Hell yeah. So like I know some people like don't always know their agent sends them whatever. So during COVID, when my boxing gym shut down,
That's okay.
not I'm not going back to boxing, just so you know. I'm staying on this topic. Uh, so when my boxing gym shut down, I was like, dang, what else can I do? Because I always need to be focused on a goal. That's just
Same.
kind of who I am. I think it's good for most people, but yeah. So I want something to focus on, even if it's not something so grandiose, you know? But in this case, I was like, dang, I saw like an ad for WWE or something like that. And then I saw a movie with The Rock in it, and I was like, oh, maybe the world is trying to tell me signs. Like, maybe I should pick up pro wrestling. And then I just went on WWE's website and was like, I wonder how you like try out. Now that I know the wrestling industry, that was like crazy for me to even think that. I know who they accept and how they filter their people and whatever. But I was like, maybe, but then because of COVID, they weren't accepting,
Mhm.
they weren't having tryouts then anyway. So I was like, whatever, probably a pipe dream. And then I was supposed to have like a post COVID fight in Miami for boxing and got pneumonia randomly. Like I was in the best shape of my life sparring, woke up the next day and like could not breathe. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to pull out of fight camp basically. And I was like, it's like every time you're almost to like a goal, you know, the rug is pulled out from under you. I was having going through those
Mhm.
kind of thoughts, and I was like, now what do I do? And I was like, well, I have to make use of myself somehow. I can't just sit here. I'm an overthinker too, so if I just sit there with my thoughts, I will drive myself insane. And so I have to like get out and
Yes.
go running, or I have to, you know, like working out is my sanctuary because
The-
otherwise
Us
I'm a
too, girl.
nutcase.
Us too.
So, uh,
Mhm.
So, yeah, my mom and my fiance both would be like, "Did you work out today?" Like, if I'm being
Mhm.
like real testy and feisty, "Did you go running today? Did you go lift today?" I'll be like,
Right.
"You don't
That
know
is
me."
Valerie.
That is so me.
um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So at least I know myself. But so then I just went online and I was just looking through auditions because you know I was like maybe I'll just get back into acting more. Some things are opening up, blah blah blah. And then I saw a tryout for Wow Women of Wrestling, and I was like, just something inside my stomach like was like,
Oh,
this is it. Like I just took a big gut shot and was like, oh, like this is it. Remember my pipe dream during COVID? Like it was meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be with WWE. Great. Don't
mm.
need that toxicity either. Um, so I pitched myself like my age. I have an agent, and I'm under them for like across the board and as an athlete actor. So they should submit me for anything athletic. This is right up my alley, and they did not pitch me for it. So I was like, I'm gonna pitch the shit out of myself. And so I was just like, I'm a pro boxer. This is this. I like uploaded like my fights, and I uploaded like training footage, and I uploaded. I don't even know what else I uploaded. Probably my acting reel, just so they could see. Like I was like, this is it. I put all my eggs in the basket, basically. And then I went and researched it because I
Mhm.
actually didn't grow up watching wrestling. So, like my uncle and aunt, cousins did, and all that stuff. But I was just too busy with my head underwater. Like I didn't care about anything else. So I went and researched who's David McLean and like, all the people that were going to be at the tryout and stuff like that. I actually had a Disney booking the same. So I was waiting to hear back, right? I was like, I got to get this tryout. Like, this is meant to be. And then my boyfriend at the time, who's my ex now, he was like, just calm down, move on. Isn't that what you're supposed to do in acting? Like, you submit and then you move on. I was like, I don't know. I can't get this out of my system. Like, I just keep checking my mail, checking my, my notifications on your, like, whatever, C-mail or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, I just have to get this. And so I'm sure I drove him nuts too. I booked something for Disney, like a guest star, and I was like, which is a good paycheck and good for your resume. But I just had this feeling that if I did get the tryout, it was going to be at the exact same time as my Disney booking, and it was. So right before I was about to sign my contract for the Disney booking, I got the email that came through that was like, "Wow, I would like you to come try out," and I was like, "Oh my God!" So I called the people for Disney and was like, "Rebook me," and then I went to this WoW tryout, and I called my sister too. I was like, is this crazy? Like, I'm giving up a good paycheck and like a good thing for my resume to go like on a whim try out to be a pro wrestler. And she was like, actually, what's crazy is that, and my niece and my sister know me really well. She was like, we were driving by the other day, we saw a WWE billboard, and we literally both said, why doesn't Amberly do that too? She could do pro wrestling. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, forget it. This is meant to be. So I'm like, rebook me. I don't want to be in a Disney thing. And I went to my WoW tryout. On my way to my WoW tryout, somebody robbed a bank. Like, it sounds like I'm making this up, but like, I leave so early. Like, I left so early to get there. Like, I left like 3
From
hours to get to
where?
Hollywood. Okay. I was
Okay.
coming from Long Beach, so like, I needed some. Was I coming from Long Beach? No, I was coming from Marina Del Rey actually at that time. I moved so much. I
I
don't know.
know.
It's crazy. You know the LA life. uh, so yeah, I left myself like 3 hours, and the road I was taking back roads mostly just like shut down at a certain point. Cops like right in front of me, and I was like, no, just one more car, just let me through. I was there right in front of me, and I was like starting to sweat, and I just wanted this so bad. I was like, I'm just gonna get out and run from here. I'm a runner, like I can run. And eventually they made a detour, but I didn't. But then I just like threw my fucking keys at the valet and started sprinting as soon as I got there. I was like, take all my money. I don't care. I'm not going to find street parking. Ran down Hollywood Boulevard up into the thing. I was like panting by the time I got up. And then I saw, the Beast is one of our world champions. I saw her banner up and I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. And then David turns around. He's like, hi, I'm David McLean. And I was like, hi, I'm Amberly Shaw. He was like, I remember your submission because I pitched the shit out of myself, I was like, beautiful. So that's how it all began. And then we went through like a hell of a tryout. The stuff you had to do, Alacona, is nothing. We had to go through what we call Hell Week, by the way, and we took suplexes on like day one. So I mean, yeah, it was wild. Maybe not day one. It was like we had a tryout where we did like more basic stuff, and then we went through Hell Week and day one of Hell Week. So like day two, I was taking a suplex from Chainsaw. So
wow,
there's that.
Okay, so two things. One, funny,
Yeah,
because Val was a Disney mom for a few seasons,
Right. But that's different. Turning
No,
down
I
a
know, but
series regular and a guest star, I mean, that's a complete decision of like, this is where I want my career to go versus this, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
yeah,
I was curious. I was
yeah.
just like, you were like, rebook me. And they're looking at you like, ma'am, that's not how this works. Nah, that's
Yeah, I was like,
I
I
love
can't
that though.
can't make
I
it.
love how
Sorry.
bold I
Paid
think it's
off.
really difficult to do in general, and especially coming from somebody who calls themselves a prior people pleaser, for you to be at a place in your life to make such a bold decision and say, I don't want this guarantee. I want this thing that I know I'm going to get, but I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to work my ass for it. Like, that just is a huge testament to who you are as a person, and how you go about to get the things that you want. And that's freaking awesome. Like, I love that so much. Love, love, love.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah, I just feel like you have to always take a chance on yourself. You have to bet on yourself. And also there's the part about following your intuition, which after being in a bunch of narcissistic relationships was hard at first. I'm like, what does my gut tell me? I have no idea how to listen to myself anymore, you know? So I had to do a lot of work, as we all do.
Right.
I think everybody needs a therapist, to be honest. But yeah, so after a lot of self work and reflection and reframing and all the things, yes, I learned that as long as I have myself, I'm good. Like I'm able-bodied. I'm capable of a lot of things. I have a good mindset. I have a good drive. I can do whatever I put my mind to, and like just one foot in front of the other, basically, you know. And I will tell you though, when I started wrestling, I was not good. I probably wouldn't have.
Can you get more specific?
Now that I'm a
because
training assistant,
you're obviously you're an actress. You're an extreme amazing athlete. So what part weren't you good at?
Yeah.
Like I don't believe you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I made it realistic. I think I was always able to make it like Alicona's good at that too. Like the intensity, making it realistic because it is real. That part I'm good at. But I mean, well, I can do all of it now. But then okay, so I came from boxing and I had this assumption, immediate assumption where I'm like, this is my home. Like being in a ring, like that's like being in the water now for me, you know? So I'm like, it will come naturally. No, because in box, first of all, the rings feel very different. A boxing ring and a wrestling ring do not feel the same. But also in boxing, you want to stay like grounded at all times. And if your feet leave the canvas, either you are knocked down or knocked out. And that's a problem. So for me, in wrestling, your feet have to leave the canvas. They will leave the canvas. You will get picked all the way up. You might be on the top buckle even. Like I have a fear of heights, and it was so foreign to be in a ring and my feet leaving the ground. I could not do a lot of the things. Jump, like, I mean, I can physically jump, but like I don't want to jump off my feet in the ring. Like that feels very counterintuitive to a boxer. And then also not fully punching them in the face. Like
amazing.
I'm used to knocking somebody out. I commit. Yeah. So it's it's kind of a weird feeling to get in a wrestling ring, and you're still committing to everything. You're still doing everything, but you have to throw your punches differently.
No, I was gonna cut you off because I have so many things to counter all the things that you just said right now. Because actually, I sent a video to Val this morning of me last night where I literally ran into somebody's fist.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even swing. They were being kind and just standing still so I could like learn this thing. And I just full on ran into their fist with my face and was like, but why did you even do that? You know? And so the same thing, I went into this like, I'm athletic and this is fine. Like, it'll be fine. And clearly you've seen me and I'm like,
yeah.
No, it's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, wrestling is all in the details. No, it takes so much time, and even when you're our trainer's been in it for 37 years, and even her, she says she's constantly learning. So it's an art form and a sport, and it is a science. It's a lot of things combined together, and you have to really take time. And same thing, it just takes years to get good at it, you know? Yeah. I love it though. I mean, yeah, it didn't feel natural, but I just kept doing what I do and working hard until I figured it out, putting in, the time, the
So
rest,
when I auditioned for this, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Did not know what I was walking into. You were there and you were standing outside. And I remember some other girl, because a lot of us were actors. Like I got this through a manager who, she's so funny. I told Val this story. She submitted me late at night. And so when I actually got the audition, she's like, honey, I am so sorry. I saw this thing and it said like background in like gymnastics and martial arts and dance. And like, you can do all those things. And I submitted video of doing these things. And then you got the audition and I read the breakdown and it said wrestling and I about shat. And I was like, oh shit. And she was like, you don't have to go if you don't want to. And I was like, it's fine. But I do know that when I did the initial audition, it was me and some actors and it said, wow, Women of Wrestling, like looking for new superheroes for their brand new series. And I was like, oh, they must be doing like a brand new scripted series. Like I'm thinking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but with wrestlers. So I was like, yeah, I can.
And like how they did with
Yes,
Glow,
and I was
and it
like,
was a dramatic
so
series.
not, and then I walked in and was like, oh, like this really is wrestling? Yeah.
Like actually wrestling.
Anyway, so yeah. That's my story. That's how I got into it. Crazy.
Yeah, and here you are.
Crazy.
You're still in it.
I love it though too. Like I was telling Ali Kona, I was like, it does combine all the things that she's really, really good at, and obviously you too, Amberly. And I think what's important because you do, I mean, especially back in the day, I used to watch wrestling with my dad, and I've seen like it on TV or whatever, and it is like cool and realistic, and you fall in love with the characters that people play, and I've seen it live because a friend of mine, he does it as well. And when I saw it live and when I saw a mix of just like pros and amateurs, that's when I really realized the immense technique that is needed to put on this amazing acrobatic kick-ass show. Like where you're just like, oh wow, oh dang, like okay, like I see you and I see you and I see you, like it's quite intense.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you are,
We're
and
really getting beat up in there.
it's very
Yeah.
impressionable is the word, because I was just like, this is intense, so intense.
It is intense. Yeah, it is intense. And you want the audience to feel something like that. And we are there to entertain you. But it is ultimately a test of our own strength because you are really in there getting your body beat down, So wrestling is real.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, like
Bruises
what
are
is
real.
like
The
how
recovery for wrestling?
what's like an athlete, like so do you do a show or practices? I was gonna say rehearsal, like what an actor. And yeah, you're training, and then so how
Training,
often
yeah.
are your off days or your on days? Okay.
So we train 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So the weekend is our time to recover or do
Okay.
life that you're not able to do during the week. Myself and one of my best friends in the show, Coach Campanelli, we are there multiple sessions a day, 5 days a week. And so we don't really get to do like regular go get your groceries and stuff. You know what I mean? So we kind of just fit all that in on the weekend. She's much more social than me. So I'm actually more extroverted. She's introverted, but she has a little friend network that she likes to go out with, and I like to stay home with my bulldog. Because my fiance is halfway across the country too, so like I like to rest and recover. We do a lot of Epsom salt baths, and I have a Theragun, and active recovery is actually really important. So you're not just sitting there getting stiff. So I go on like walks with my dog on the weekends and stuff like that. But the icing, heating, stretching, yoga, massage therapy, chiropractic, this is probably the hardest thing on the body that any athlete can be is a pro wrestler. I just don't think there's anything more intense than that. I've done almost every other sport, and this to me is the most brutal. It's the most rewarding to me also, but it is so hard on your body. And not only that, it's mental too. So if you don't get enough sleep, that's my biggest thing too. Like you have to super hydrate and super like recover in your sleep too. Taking magnesium, whatever, all the things, because I'm a light sleeper. And if I don't get enough sleep, I cannot function. And then you're at high risk of injury too. Every day that you're training and wrestling, you're at high risk of injury. So
you know what I noticed? Amberly, you know what I noticed is right before my lady time, I can't remember what comes next. Like you guys can teach a combo, and then I get in the ring and I'm like, like it's like my brain is fried and farted. Like I just don't know, and it's always like right before I start. I'm like, what is this?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, as female athletes, it is something we have to deal with is our menstruation like cycles, and I know one of my running coaches told me that there's a certain point where you are actually like a superhero, and I think it's towards the end of it or right after you just finish it or something like that. But I do think right before it, when our hormones are like spiking, that it does affect people in different ways. Like some people have like what is it called? And you like take Midol. It's like it affects your mood. It like gives you a mood disorder. I can't remember what it's
EMS?
called. It has letters.
PMS.
I'm not good with like medicinal things like that. Like yeah, but it's like
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
PMDD.
talking about.
It's like a bigger one, whatever. I don't know. But it's like before, and so it affects people in different ways. Some people get extremely tired. But I was gonna run this crazy race at the end of. So I like ran from random, but I ran with a team from LA to Las Vegas, like on foot. We did like a relay. It's like 400 some miles, whatever. So I did like 60 miles on my own legs. We do it relay style. But anyway, I literally was like, oh my God, like right when we started that race, like I'll just be at the end of my period. She was like, great, you have superpowers. I'm like, what? And she's much more into the sciencey side of things. And so she explained it to me. But it does make sense. I think at the beginning you're a little bit more foggy, and then when you come towards the end, you like
That
are
is so
heightened with like your
funny.
strength and
So
stuff.
I just
So
ran
that's pretty cool.
a half marathon on the Great
Yeah.
Wall of China, and it just so happens that the end of my period was 2 days before I ran it, and I got first in my 40 to 45 category. Wow. Period power.
Yes,
Okay.
period power. Not taking away
Yeah, I
from the
mean,
fact
I
that you
trained
probably
like
are just already
crazy too,
amazing,
but
but like,
that's
you
just so
know,
funny because when you're saying that, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember
yeah.
thinking I almost skipped it. And because of that, I was like, shit, I'm going to be on a 16-hour flight, like with my period. That's going to suck. I was like, whatever. Like, let me not mess with anything. How funny.
Yeah.
Amberly, I'm curious because you're super goal oriented and you've like that's
Do
what
it anyway.
kind of what you've done since you were a kid. So what's next for you? Like is there like another ultimate goal that you haven't accomplished yet?
So I kind of started I want to face all my fears. Well, maybe not all of them because I hate spiders and I don't really care about facing that. I just want to kill them and get them out of my house. But sorry, I know, Alicona, I'm sorry. It's just I have to be myself. We talked about being ourselves. I don't like
I
spiders.
will.
If you want to come and take them
I
out of
will.
my house, you're more than welcome to. I will squish them. I do not want to be bit. I don't want my dog bit. Anyway, I'll move on from that. I have a fear of sharks and swimming in the ocean because I've always swum in pools. So another thing I started doing during COVID was I wanted to do a triathlon. But I was gonna start the triathlon in
Nice.
a lake. There was like one in the Bay Area, and I was like, oh, a lake. I can swim in a lake. Like there's no waves, it's not salt water, like nothing's gonna come take me out. So I was gonna do baby steps there, you know? And then I was like, I want to eventually be an Iron Woman because I can run. I've run a marathon and, you know, whatever, bunch of cross country races when I was younger too and all this stuff. Um, I can run. I got a bike, a cycle, like a real triathlon cycle because when I was little, I rode mountain bikes, but whatever, it's different. So I was learning how to like be a cyclist, like shift the gears, which is really complicated, by the way. And like when you're going up and then this is, I was like, I can't process. But anyway, I tried. And then they canceled. So this was right before COVID. I decided on this situation. And then when the world shut down, they were like, we're canceling this too. Like even though it's outdoors, too many people. And so then I was like, okay, my bike sat there and got dust. But with WoW, actually, once I was with WoW, they did a fundraiser for Children's Hospital, LA Children's Hospital. And so we raised money for it and we did like a relay triathlon. So one of us was swimming, one of us was biking, one of us was running. And I was a team captain. And so they were like, hey, Krush, go find two other of your teammates that you're friends with, put the relay together. You can do whichever part you want. So I called up Americana and Kita and I said, hey guys, you want to do a relay with me? You want to do a triathlon? But it's not too hard, whatever. We're raising money for children's cancer. They're like, yeah, we're in. I was like, great, who's going to do swimming? And I like, nose goes, you know, I was like, not me. Like, I'm going to do the running part. And because now you have to swim in the ocean. And I didn't even get my baby step lake swim, okay? So they all know I'm a swimmer, but I'm also a runner. And then Kita was like, oh, I've done cycling before. I can do the cycling part. I was like, great. And Americana originally was like, yeah, I'll do the swimming. That's fine. then we get off the phone. She calls me. She was like, you know what? Actually, like, I'll do the swimming still, but just so you know, I'm probably gonna need you to coach me and this and that. I can't really do real strokes. I'm like, so you can float? That's what you're telling me you can float? Like, you can't swim, actually swim. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna have to do this swimming part. And so I've never even worn like a full wetsuit, and the Pacific Ocean is cold and disgusting. So, oh my God. And it was raining that day. It was like storming. So anyway, they had this like celebrity clinic where like me, guys that were like on The Bachelor and like all this stuff, like people that were under the Paramount umbrella, we all went and could get trained together. But there's a whole like you have to dive under the waves to get out. In order to not get crushed on the way back, you have to like also go under for a certain point. I was like, this is it. This is how I go. Like this is the last thing I do in life. And somehow I didn't die. But people were all, when we got there, I asked our PR team, I was like, it's raining. Is it canceled? Like, we already raised the money for the kids. Like, let's just get out of here. And they were like, no, Krush, we need the camera footage. And I was like, no, then just get me diving in. Like, it's fine. Fake it, you know? And they're like, no. So we're like on the front line and they're like, hey, like you guys ready? They're gonna start counting down, and then like the celebrity division goes in first. So it's all like funny actors and stuff too. And they're like 3, 2. I was like, is it too late to turn back? Like, and then we all just start running. I was like screaming. People were throwing up in the ocean around me. They had like, yeah, they had lifeguards like on surfboards that people were. Yes, because the salt water was like
I've done a triathlon.
You swallow so much salt water.
That's why
if the waves are choppy like that.
I never.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So people swallowed too much salt water, I guess, because it was super choppy. It was storming.
I was gonna say,
and I mean, also as a celebrity division, like nobody's actually doing triathlons in there. Like, no. So the real triathletes went first,
the different waves,
and then we were second. So like the competitive ones that are like going for whatever. Then us, and then after us was like any random person that just wanted to enter that is not like a USA triathlete or whatever. So I survived. I swam so fast because I was just like, I need to get this over with. I was like, a shark is going to bite my foot at any moment. I'm going to get pulled under. I hope a lifeguard sees me. At least I can live without a leg, but like, don't let me drown. I was just like in my head, so crazy. And I mean, you're going to do an Ironman, I guess, but I would like to actually one day do an Ironman. That would be a better ocean to swim in. I think that would be prettier. But anyway, that's a goal. But as far as wrestling, I would want to become the world champion for WoW. And I have no dreams to go anywhere else in wrestling except for WoW. For me, that's where I want to be. And yeah, I mean, I also just want to, my biggest goal in life is to be able to just have a platform to be able to move as many people in the world as I can. So I want to be able to go speak at schools and encourage people to chase their dreams and, you know, also to ultimately be good people. There's so much bullying that happens at schools now. Like, I was just at my niece's graduation party and listening to all these kids talking about how, like, they've been bullied and all this stuff. And I've experienced it too, and even back in when I was in school and online and all this stuff. And it's just so much of that going on right now. And I just feel like, I don't know if people, they have too much access to each other, you know, keyboard warriors, whatever they are. But also, I just think there needs to be more role models out there that can be like, I'm a badass, I'm strong. Like, it's not like I'm prim and proper and like telling you how to live your life and you can't resonate with me, you know? Like, I'm trying not to hear, but I drop the F-bomb and I have a mouth like a sailor and I'm a real person and stuff, but I choose to do good things with my energy and I choose to just like work hard in life, you know, and inspire people, hopefully. So, and encourage them to be able to chase their dreams too.
Actually, I'm gonna.
So I want to do more of that.
Cut you off a little bit and just say. So we usually end the show with something called "What If." So the premise is basically something that you either have been thinking about, worrying about, and sometimes we get anxious about, and we're like, like, what if I freaking try to do this thing and I look stupid? Or what if I do this move and I like twist an ankle? And so it's like a positive spin on that would be like, oh my God, like, what if I do get the belt? What if I beat Krush in my first match? So not gonna happen. But the point is, thinking of all the things that you just mentioned, like, could you give us a quick what if, and then I'll toss it to Val and you can do yours. Well, you're
Wait, so I'm supposed
Here, I
to
can start
reframe
it.
this?
I
Like
can
I'm supposed to
start
say,
it.
what if I get eaten by a shark? And then
I'll
I
start
reframe
it just super general because of how we started the
Okay,
the
thank you.
podcast. What if I plan the most epic 40th birthday and everybody can go and my parents are going to be there and it becomes even like bigger than what I had imagined and super memorable and emotional and starts off my next decade with a bang.
Oh, I got one for you then. What if I learn all the choreography to Jennifer Lopez's songs and I rent out a stage and get some really cool outfits and invite Valerie and put on a great show? And what if she doesn't even realize that it's not J-Lo and she thinks it's me? It'll be the best birthday ever.
Oh God. Me too,
I
girl.
love that. I would pay to see that.
You're
Actually.
invited. Done.
Can you invite me also? Thank you. That's my official invite. Okay, well then I guess I am going to do my triathlon one. What if I do a whole Ironman triathlon and I prove myself right that I can do anything that I put my mind to. I believe I can.
I
So,
love it.
yeah, what if I do?
Thank
That would
you
be incredible.
so much, Amberly, for spending the time with us to be on here. You for sure are already inspiring. I'm so excited for people to hear this episode because there is a lot that you shared if they don't know already. Your super fans probably do. But yeah, that I feel like you definitely are super relatable and you have bet on yourself and it's paid off. So I really, really, really hope that resonates with our listeners. Definitely resonated with us. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I had so much fun. You guys are awesome.
Yay.
Well, thank you. I don't have anything extraordinary to add to all that. Like Val said so many amazing things, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's why you
So
guys are a good tag team. You're a good tag team, you know?
exactly, exactly. So I'll just leave it with this. This was awesome, Amberly. Thank you for taking the time to come on here to chat with us on our podcast. It's really cool to be able to talk to you on another level because obviously when we're practicing, there's no time to like really chit chat and get to know each other. So this was really cool. I enjoyed it, and I hope everybody at home
Wait,
does
I
too.
have one thing to say.
Yes,
In the words of Alacona, eat your broccoli, bitch.
that's right.
The best line to go out on. That's the best line to
Yes.
go out on.
Yes.
I love
All right,
it.
guys.
That's it. That's the end.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.